Hi, I'm the Recruiting Maven and welcome back to my channel. This channel is dedicated to having thoughtful discussions surrounding the fourth industrial revolution and what that means to you and your career. So today's topic of conversation has to do with finding a job very quickly. So maybe there's a job loss, maybe your spouse, your significant other, or you just need really extra income. Some of my favorite sources, believe it or not, are still Craigslist. I do find candidates on there. I certainly post to Craigslist. Of course, mind you, it depends on the industry that I'm recruiting for. But nonetheless, you can find anything from a light industrial position to administration to software engineering, especially startups. I do see quite a lot of startups on there as well. So please don't rule that out. I know that, Craigslist sometimes gets a bad rap about, not legitimate businesses being on there and advertising, and it's kind of shady. But what I will say to that is that what you're going to be finding is those local, maybe smaller companies that are just looking for someone to have, to fill a position. And maybe they don't have a budget to post on LinkedIn or post on Indeed or Career Builder or Monster.com, those major sites. And it doesn't, for them, but on a budgetary level, it doesn't make any sense. But that doesn't make them any less viable jobs. So, of course, with anything, make sure you're checking out your sources, making sure you're asking good questions about who the company is, what they do, where, an address. I've seen some that don't have a full address and they're still legitimate business. So again, do your due diligence on that. With that said, something that I've been noticing around town is I know that, and especially, of course, for the holidays, Target's really good at posting, like in their doorways, that they're hiring. As a matter of fact, this past summer, I did see a lot of signs that says, we're hiring. I did see some at HomeGoods as well. They actually had a table at HomeGoods, and they actually had full-on job applications for you to fill out. And so I did ask someone there, and I said, hey, what's the process? Because, I'm a busybody, but and a recruiter, or both, however you want to take that. And they said, oh, we just fill it out and give it to the manager, and she'll probably, if she has time, she'll interview you. So I thought that was really great. Make sure you're present and accounted for when you're, walking around town and doing your those errands that you normally do. You never know who, may need some help. Whether it's full-time or part-time, at least it'll give you a nice supplement in your income. Now, with that said, I love advising people to not wait. Always have a secondary source of income. So maybe if you're selling stuff online, and I know everybody loves eBay, but there are other sites. PoshMark is such a wonderful platform. I'm always hearing really, really good things about them. And not just because I actually have my own little closet, as they call it, but people there are just really genuinely nice and very helpful. I know that the team behind the scenes and just really nice. They respond to any issues that you may have right away. It's nice to be around nice people. And I know that sounds a little bit redundant and maybe a little hokey, but I want to be around nice people. Life is hard enough as it is that I want to be treated well, and I think I deserve that, and I think we all deserve that. So, and it's not, this portion is not sponsored by any means, but I've just been so impressed by Poshmark that I had to mention that, because as you're looking at so many apps for extra income, I would highly recommend them. The other thing I want to address is, you can certainly do, whether it's a Google search or you go on YouTube and you look up how to make money online or how to make $100 online, there's some really good sources there as well. Again, I can't stress enough, make sure you're doing your due diligence on those. Not everything is as it seems. And some of them really, Have a little bit of a ramp up period that, you just think that you apply and you're going to instantly within 24 hours have a job, and they're sold that way. The language, is termed that way, or it's alluding to that, but it really isn't that. Very few sites have a 24-hour turnaround whether you've been accepted or not. I have been working in compiling a list for you, and I certainly hopefully will have that within the next week of companies that are viable, that you can definitely make some money, that they're legitimate in terms of they do pay you, that they're up and up, that there's not going to be an issue in terms of that payment. I know some companies want to pay you with gift cards and all that, and that's great, but again, addressing our discussion being finding a job, which means you need money. It's not about those gift cards, and unless you want to work for the holidays and get those gift cards, that's great too. There's nothing wrong with that. But with that said, it's again, there's a little bit of a ramp up period. So APPEN, APPEN, is great if you want to have that nomadic lifestyle, that online lifestyle, that or they call them digital nomads. That's right. And so that's great, but they still take some time, and they may or may not accept you. They may not have the jobs or enough jobs to go around. So be aware of those things. Make sure you're reading thoroughly those platforms. Seems to be a really good company. I'm always, again, just a busybody checking things out. Not, and sometimes I use those myself. So just because I'm curious to see as a recruiter, how quickly they hire you. What's the process? Why are they doing that? Why are they not doing certain things? So again, be mindful, do your research, and hopefully some of these solutions, will bring you success. With anything, there's so much to be had out there, especially online nowadays. So many promises. So again, I appreciate your time. Make sure you're doing your due diligence. I appreciate your likes, your shares, your subscription, and hitting that little bell to get notifications when I upload every Tuesday and Thursday. And I appreciate your time, and thanks so much for hanging out with me today.